Or to order the meeting for Mount Anthony Union High School District Number 14 Board of Directors. Today's Wednesday, June 18th. I'm going to quickly go around the room and have everybody, I guess, well, now we have signs though, but just in case, I'll have everybody just give their name and title.
I'm Laura Boudreaux, the Assistant Superintendent.
Tim Payne, principal at Mount Anthony Union High School.
Chris McGuire, Principal, Mount Anthony Union Middle School.
Stephanie Mulligan, board member.
Susan Python, board member.
Beth Wallace, Board Member. Katie Aiken, Board Member.
Glenn Thurber, board member.
Dave Frederickson, board member.
Scott McEnany, board member.
And then we also have Holly.
Holly Anderson, Director of Facilities Management and Operations.
I'm in Nick Galt, Director of Human Resources.
Okay, great. The first item on the agenda is public comments. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? Okay, I just want to make sure there's, someone that I wasn't sure on the screen and you're not included. Okay. That's good. The next item on the agenda is executive session, 1 VSA 313A3, the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided that the public body shall make a final decision to hire or appoint in a public officer or employee in an open meeting and shall explain the reason for its final decision during the open meeting. Can I have a motion to go into executive session, bringing HR Director Nick Galt and
What do we call him?
I was the Superintendent Principal Payne or Laura, I don't know who,
Yeah, it's up to you.
I guess, which one? Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. And Principal Payne.
I make the motion to move into executive session.
Motion by Susan, second by Glenn. All in favor?
Hi.
Sorry, Laura, I didn't mean. Stumbling.
Those of you online, we're just going to move you into the waiting room.
Scott.
Vote.
I'll keep Scott.
I voted.
After a thorough process, interview process with many qualified candidates, I'd like a motion to approve Adam Carmichael for the position of principal.
So moved.
Second.
Scott,
Second by Scott.
who spoke?
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hopefully he can come to the next meeting and introduce himself.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to operations. We have, first item A is Mount Anthony roof bid with an action requested.
I can't, talk without moving my hands, so I thought I could answer. The two, items on the agenda are linked in a way. In our existing operating budget, it's approved, for this coming fiscal year, we had $400,000 approved by the board for capital expenditures at Mount Anthony High School. Part of that project list was to replace all the bleachers, because the bleachers are manually operated, they're old, they break, they're not ADA compliant, which is my biggest issue with them. And so that was part of the budget process last year. In wanting to also get the bleachers and taking the roofing problem, so the bleachers, we went out to bid, we got 3 bids, we got the lowest responsive bidder. And so we had that project all set up, and then as Mr. Payne will attest, there's been a bunch of roof leaks at the high school, and the connector between the original building and the 84 wing was replaced in 2016. And the project was basically, they put a membrane over the existing, they just built up the roof. And at that time, they left the existing stone, like the existing ballast. And after a few freeze and thaw cycles, you could see the roof doing this. And as the roof exercised, like it pulled away from mechanical units, vents, And so there were leaks. And so the installer went like this and the manufacturer went like this. And the agreement is that, you know, every time they get a leak, the manufacturer will have the contractor come and fix it. And, I started about 3 years ago and I'm like, that's not the answer for a public building. We shouldn't be having water infiltrate. So, we had robust conversations with both the installer and the, manufacturer. And after, I don't need to read you the whole book unless you want the whole book, because I can talk about this all day, Susan, as you know. Basically, basically, the manufacturer neglected to put in a stipulation for independent inspections of the moisture content of the ballast. So the manufacturers, like, they didn't put that in, so the installer didn't do the inspection. Anyway, long story short, the materials provider has come forth May 20th after some pretty epic nagging, and they are willing to provide all the materials to re-roof that section. It's about $80,000 worth of material. And to take advantage of that, I would really like to re-roof that this summer. That being said, we don't want to do the same thing we did last time and cover over the existing ballasts and just keep adding a layer. So included in your packet, your amended packet, sorry, I was still negotiating stuff this morning. We have a quote included for, it's like 127,000-ish to rip off all the layers of wood there and install the materials that the manufacturer is going to provide for free. And we'd like to do that this summer so that we can solve this problem and move on. But that wasn't budgeted money. So working with the bleacher guy, the bleacher manufacturer has agreed to allow us to move forward with the project and pay them over 3 years. There is no interest rate involved and there's no prepayment penalty. So if we get to the end of the year and we're like, hey, this particular project came under, we can prepay more. We can certainly do that, but I'd like to move forward with the bleachers. I think our students deserve to have ADA compliant bleachers. They're all motorized, so it's less of a burden on the staff. So the staff don't have to yank them in and out and exercise them that way. And over time, it won't cost us anymore. And we'll work with the director of finance to make sure in the next 2 fiscal years we have that on our lists. But also to be able to take the funds we already have approved and fix that. So those are the 2 requests I have on the agenda.
Can you tell me how many square foot of the roof is being covered by this repair?
I can't off the top of my head. I don't remember how many squares it is.
Okay, I mean, having $80,000 basically donated is a wonderful thing, and I'm sure that didn't come without some sort of nagging, but $127,000 to do removal for how much?
Yeah, so I can certainly get back to you with how many squares that is.
500.
So 6,500 on top of the
Yeah.
dock seats.
Okay.
And that's 6,500 being down. That's not all the built up roofs.
Yes, I
Yeah,
understand.
thank you.
Thanks.
Bleachers we're talking about are the indoor bleachers in the gymnasium.
Correct.
First, I was thinking like,
Oh,
baseball.
They're motorized. That keyed me in too. I was like, what?
We bid them out so that we got one lump sum, like here, the bleacher replacement. And then I was like, okay, if we want to get the roof done, but we went back to the vendors and had them do each bank separately. And that just over time will cost more money because they have to mobilize and mobilize, right? And, yeah.
Thank you, Leon. Also, did you have a question, Leon?
I did, and it was on the bleachers. And we going to motorized bleachers. One of the things that I noticed around the state is that when we have the schools that have motorized bleachers, and when they break down, they have problems trying to get to the system to manually let them out. And so I hope, and I hadn't seen the schematic, that either it's not in the middle of the bleachers and it's not up high where you have to pull up one thing and have somebody crawl behind it and so forth. Just think about how we're going to manage the bleachers if they mechanically fail and they out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, once we have a purchase order, I will be getting shop drawings within 5 days. And I will go work with the contractor to verify and field to make sure that all those are accessible. All those panels, all those connections are accessible,
Thank you.
easily accessible. Did that answer your question, Liam?
Yep, that's what I just wanted to make sure she considered that because that's an issue when those things stop and you can't roll them back because you can't really get to them for some reason sometime.
I just have one question. So the director, Renee, has confirmed that financing these bleachers in this manner meets.
Yep, there, so the bids are within, so we went through the proper bid process through the educational law book, the green law book.
Okay.
And Renee said, I need to bring it to the board for your approval, and that's okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But ultimately, in this is a payment plan in 3 years. There are not, that's not a capital lease.
Correct.
So are,
It's not.
Stephanie, are you, I think I have the same concern. We're obligating future expenses? Is that the issue?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I support the bleachers. I'm not,
Yeah, no,
but I just wanted to make sure people were aware that this is going to impact multiple years.
So the bleachers will have railings and pathways.
correct. And they will be, the pathways will be all ADA compliant and meet all code requirements.
So we'll be a lot safer and we'll lose seats.
We will not see. Absolutely.
Okay.
But we won't have to watch you climb the steps and worry that I won't get to you fast enough if you start to tumble.
I'm healed now.
But I watch your wife and she and I have the same facial expression as we watch you climb the steps.
Okay, so, and Renee's checking with you, like the lease, that
Yeah.
find that this is, that if the way that they're wording it, it's like a capital lease, I mean, ultimately it's going to be ours in the end, and that
This
beats.
is like a 3-year lease with a dollar buyout.
I just know that there's, yeah, I mean, it's a lease, they call it a lease, but like ultimately, it's just, it has imputed interest rate, it's a long-term, and so I just want to make sure that that meets whatever rules.
And they're, and they have agreed, it's in their proposal that there's no interest costs. It's basically a payment over 3 years instead of a payment over.
I'll, as long as Renee's like checked it or it meets whatever standard she has to do for the auditors, that's. Are there any other questions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, and let me read it, hold on.
At the same time?
Yeah, the MAUHS roof bid and the MAUHS bleacher project. As presented by Melvin.
I'll second it.
Susan, second by Beth. Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Great,
Aye.
thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have a finance with the treasurer's report, and it's requesting an action. Was that intended? Okay, so treasurer, there is a May treasurer's report that's located in the packet. We generally don't take action on that, so I'm going to not do something. If we need something in the future, we can do it in the July meeting. We'll move to the consent agendas. We have minutes, warrants, retirements, leave of absence, resignations, and nominations and no field trips. The nomination packet does include the principal position, which we've already voted on. Can I have a motion to approve them all at once?
So.
Yeah, the consent agenda all at once.
Consent agenda.
Motion by Glenn, second by,
I'll second.
okay, Katie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Can I ask a question? Just wanted to, are you still negotiating a contract with Mr. Carmichael?
Or I mean, is it all negotiated or are you give the authorization now to go into
I
that?
would,
So at this
I
point,
would pause. and
we're just,
think-
yeah, I mean, at this point, we're going through the process of having the board approve the nomination and then, information will come from central office when everything is set.
But you brought up the subject, that's why I asked, because how do I phrase that? Going to, is it a final approval for the new principal or is it like, I think normally you have to approve negotiating a contract. That's what I just wondered how to phrase that.
Negotiating a contract's the next step.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Okay. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we have, the principals are under collective bargaining unit, so. Okay, we do not have policies and I had asked, agenda item 7 to be put on the agenda, which is the Vermont AOE Series Rule 100. This is, I apologize, I didn't realize that, I had missed sending it to Amy, making sure Amy put it in the packet. I will ask her to email it out to everybody. This is something that goes into effect July 1st, which is, time, like, works well with our change in new leadership. It is, a document that addresses district quality standards. So I just I will have, Amy send it out to everyone so you can review. Please read it before the next meeting and we will, start to address some of the items on this time. Okay, we will move on to the administrator's report. We do not have student representatives. We will go to, Principal Payne.
So, I'm gonna make this short. I want to congratulate all students who were recognized at the underclassmen senior award, underclassmen awards, which was May 20th, senior awards, which was June 4th. I also had the pleasure of attending Southwest Tech Awards. All of them are unique. But one thing I wanted to say publicly is I want to thank all the community partners and supporters who make the donations for scholarships available. Truly impressive the amount of money and support that is given to students. I know that students and their families appreciate this support as they pursue their interests beyond graduation. My first time at Tech Awards, it was real fun to hang out and see kids in different ways and see different kids. So, and then recognizing them at graduation with their various honor stoles and recognitions as well. Graduation was held on June 6th in the gym. 3 years in a row, we've had to call it because of weather. But I will notice that I've made this comment in every single one of these gatherings. We had air conditioning. It made a difference. I want to thank Ms. Boudreau and I want to thank the board members who were able to be present. Please know that it was recognized by the community. I heard that in the courtyard immediately after graduation. Parents really appreciated folks who were able to attend. It was noted. I also want to, I mentioned that I was thankful for the air conditioning. I will say
You
this.
wanted to say that twice.
I just want to say this, that, and you know, many people know that I was previously a principal at Mount Greylock and we too had a tradition of an outside space. I had the pleasure of touring that. They have a new school building. That's not new, it's 8 years old, but it's new. And they have moved to completely indoor graduations. In order to control the sound and the air conditioning, and they have a very nice space for that. So I appreciated air conditioning as it was warm on graduation day. And then finally, recognizing this after being pushed and prodded a little bit, I am planning to move into the role of superintendent starting July 1st. I want to thank the students and staff of Mount Anthony, both the middle and the high school, for the opportunity to serve as their principal for the last 13 years, 4 of which at the high school, and welcoming me as a member of this learning community. I especially want to thank my administrative teams for their support over the years. The folks who I'm leaving at the high school, I have full confidence that they will help Mr. Carmichael make the transition as a very effective building principal. I want to thank Mr. Colkeen and Laura for all their support over the years. And I also want to thank members of this board who have been very supportive. I've had the pleasure of serving superintendent in this board for 13 years. Your commitment to students and all students in this district is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any
Discussion. Any questions? Nicole? I have one comment to make. I so loved the dedication that the students did for you. I thought it was lovely when they brought you out on the field. It made me tear up a little bit. I'm tearing up a little bit now because I'm very sensitive. But it was lovely, and I was really happy to see that they did that for
It
you.
was completely clueless.
Yeah,
They-
but
found anything
how'd they
more.
do that?
Well, we were practicing for an outdoor graduation.
Oh, it was
Then
really.
more kids started to join us on the one sweltering day we had the Thursday before graduation. So yeah, a drone picture will be hanging in my new office and one of my prized possessions. I must say, forgot this. I also had the pleasure of attending. I was invited and the pleasure of attending Arlington High School. A very different experience.
Stage.
Yeah.
Very different experience. I was extremely impressed with individual walk-on music.
Party in the USA, my website.
Leaning back and a little Molly Cyrus it was good stuff. And very proud tradition and a very proud community, rightfully so. It was nice to be invited and participating in that graduation.
And it was really great to see that you had attended that as well.
Thank you.
That's how we walked in.
All right, well, I have brief remarks. So, I also wanted to highlight award ceremonies that we had at Mount Anthony Middle School. That was on Thursday last week, Thursday, June 12th. We had 3 consecutive award ceremonies for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders respectively. The course did a wonderful job, as they always do, singing some numbers in between. So I wanted to highlight that, Mr. Edwards and his course, and the students participated in that. And I just wanted to thank, all the parents and guardians and guests who helped us come out and celebrate the accomplishments of the middle school students. So they went really well, and it's always a fun time. On that same day, it's a busy day at the middle school, Thursday, June 12th. Again, we had our 8th grade celebration. Again, we, unlike Mr. Payne's bad luck with the weather, or maybe it wasn't bad luck with the weather, I don't know. But we caught the one nice day in the last 2 months, and it seems like that anyways. I don't know, maybe it was a few more than that, but it was a beautiful afternoon, and we lucked out with that. We had our celebration outside, and I too wanted to thank Mrs. Boudreau for her attendance, Stephanie Mulligan, Susan Blessance, and also Kristen Olmsted for joining us there. And I agree with Mr. Payne. It certainly is noticed, and we really appreciate having you join us to celebrate the 8th graders. I think that's all I got with that. Yep. And then the last thing I wanted to say was just we're gearing up for another awesome July with summer experiences going on. Kelly Brooks, as you guys got to talk to him a couple meetings ago, maybe that's our last meeting actually, and it's all blending together. And he's been working hard for registrations and to kind of secure busing routes and everything. And I am 100% confident that it's going to be a productive experience for middle schoolers this year. The last thing I wanted to say, I know I said that was the last thing, but I had another thing. I also wanted to congratulate Mr. Payne in his new position as SVSU superintendent, and very excited to have him in that role, and seeing the good work that he does, and I just want to congratulate him on that.
Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I got.
I just have a quick question. I did see the summer experience advertised and getting the word out about that. I think that's great.
Mhm.
Is it just because of the sheer volume of students that it's not offered to also incoming 6th grade only for 7th and 8th? I'm just wondering why 6th graders aren't. Is it just because of numbers or?
Yep. I'm not prepared to answer that question. Actually, I don't have the answer. I don't want to. I can take a look at. I don't know if it's related to the grant, some grant funding with it.
Oh, okay.
So I have to look at that.
And I was just curious because I was approached by somebody in the community that wanted to get their 6th grader into that program, but was told.
I would encourage them to reach out to Kelly Brooks.
They did.
As my understanding is that 6th, 7th, and 8th graders will all be participating. So I'm not sure if it's something about sending school where they're coming from.
No, it even said in the advertisement that it's just for returning.
I will be following up on that by the end of the week.
And I assumed maybe it was a numbers thing. They just couldn't fit all of the kids in. So.
No, I mean, I have to check on that.
But I was just approached about it the other day and said, why can't my incoming 6th grader go?
And they said that they reached out to.
Mm-hmm. And then I looked at the advertisement again and it did say just returning,
Okay.
7th and 8th grader.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Thank you.
I had a question. first, just like congratulations to all of our graduates and the people who are setting records and putting on plays, and the awards nights are so special, and I hope that we can figure out how to amplify those accomplishments more publicly. I've been just in people that I've been talking to who are trying to decide where to send their kids for secondary education. I've been talking about our AP students outperforming national and state averages, and everybody seems surprised by that. So I think when we, it's not enough to talk about it in our board meetings. But I'm just wondering, because I heard from a lot of community members too, that they weren't aware of the middle school awards celebration. And I have lots of experience with folks saying, I didn't hear about that, and me knowing that I sent a lot of things home. Right. So can you talk, Chris, about where that information is shared, how families should expect to be notified so that they know the places to look for that?
I can, yeah. All families of students receiving an award are mailed home an invitation to come to the award ceremony. So that's how we've done that for a number of years at the middle school.
And one parent household, split households.
Yeah, everybody that's on Infinite campus on the mail list, so as long as they have an address that's been put into the system and updated. Yes. Yep. Got it.
I guess I will follow Beth's lead with it. If anyone from the banner is looking at a really informative meeting that we had on our AP stats, I think we can find it. I think it was probably 3 or 4 months ago that Principal Payne and I think came in and presented on our stats and just how many schools and how much it impacts our students and the value. I also want to congratulate all the sports teams and the athletes that made it to various levels of playoffs and finals. They were all very exciting games, and looking forward to next year. Also, my understanding is that the middle school drama program was a success. That play that was at VAPA apparently had brought in, I think, 500, I don't know, it's like 500 seats or something.
Over the course of like 4 performances.
Yeah, which is fantastic for that. And I'm sure that'll be great for the high school drama program. I want to congratulate Tim on your new the superintendent position. And I want to thank you, Laura, for all of your service for our community and our school. I hope you enjoy your retirement, and
honor.
also same to Superintendent Colkeen, who couldn't be here this evening, but I truly appreciate the dedication and support and the time that it takes to show up to all of these board meetings, not just ours, and our school. So,
And Laura's at every board meeting. She's at every graduation. She's at every community event as well. So thank you, Laura.
She was at Arlington's as well.
Yeah.
next assistant.
Her husband's gonna be happy to see her again.
I have a list.
I believe that was all I had. If there's any other.
Stephanie, I'd like to suggest that we send a letter of congratulations from our clerk to Trevor Coyne. Baseball made it to the state finals. And also a letter to the Passano girl who was ranked 2nd in the country.
Yes. Can I step it up and suggest that we just make sure that we cover all of our bases? I believe we had some other athletes that had elevate. I'm drawing a blank on. We had several people make it to. Yeah.
I can double check.
Okay, but
If Mike could send me that list,
Yeah.
those contacts,
That would-
I'd be happy to send those
that
out.
would be good.
I forgot to mention, it was so nice, Tim, to see you marching in the Pride Parade.
I saw that too.
I think
Yes,
it was just a
I
really
forgot.
great signal to our kids and our families.
There were a lot of comments about that on Facebook too.
I think I've only missed 1 year. It goes back to when we were at the middle school. Heather Voice, who founded the first group to support kids, invited me. It's always a hoot. Love it. and it's fun to hang out. I would like to see a few more of our students walking with us, but they are peppered throughout the route, and I hear a lot of names or, hey, Mr. Pitt, not names, calling me names, but thank you. Yeah, it's fun. And it was a really nice day this weekend. We didn't melt like we have the last couple. So it's good.
Anything else?
Leon's gone. Scott's still there. I don't know where Leon went.
I'm not gone,
Oh,
but
That's not his name.
Leon.
You're like.
I don't have any questions though.
Great. Scott, you're all set.
All set.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Hi.
Thank
Aye.
you.
Aye.
Thanks a bunch.